My name is Phil Jackman, and welcome to this week's In Conversation, in which I talk to people in the Northeast dynamic and exciting cybersecurity industry. Brought to you by Cyber North, Dynamo Northeast Cybersecurity Cluster. We're supported by Accenture and the Innovation Super Network, and we're part of the UK Cyber Cluster Collaboration, or UKC3, and recognised by DCMS and the National Cybersecurity Centre as representing the region. And today, I'm delighted to be joined by Simon Hepburn, Chief Executive Officer of the UK Cybersecurity Council. Hello, Simon. How are you?
Hi, Phil. I'm very good, thank you. Good to see you again.
Well, it's really good to see you on this, and thanks very much for taking part. So can you start by telling us a bit about yourself and your role at the Cybersecurity Council?
Okay, Phil. So obviously, I'm Chief Exec of UK Cybersecurity Council. I've been enrolled since September last year. My background is not into cybersecurity, so I don't profess to be a cyber and technical expert, and I wasn't employed to be. Because I've got a lot of knowledge and expertise all around me, working with people like NCSC, with yourself, Phil, UKC3, Tech UK, so a lot of obviously partner organisations, and obviously our strategic lead in the organisation. My fundamental background is really in kind of organisation development, in education, in careers and employability space, and business development. So how do you develop a organisational business to create an impact? So the whole kind of programme design piece, and also kind of working with and moving around what I call the parliamentary estate. So how do you engage with politicians and to see different governmental departments, which I've done a lot in the past, but I will say in this role is significantly more, because cyber is in every single department, which is great. So I'm absolutely using my knowledge and skills.
Well, it just shows, I think, how broad a church cybersecurity is and the range of skills that you need to get in. So what is the Cybersecurity Council, and how's it got started?
Okay, so it started in 2018. So it's really, I think, established as part of a government consultation or government actually strategy document, 2016 to 2021, and that was very much, it was called a national cybersecurity strategy. And within that, there are specific references about the importance of having a focal point for organisations to kind of develop cybersecurity, and also the importance of developing the wider profession. So there was a formation project that was established with 16 organisations, and the focus there was really about working through 10 work streams to develop the work of the kind of foundation work of the organisation. So around governance, around standards, around ethics, around careers and qualifications, and really developing those key themes. That formed then the basis of the organisation, which came into its own entity in March 2021, so as a limited company. And in July 2021, we also became a registered charity. So we're both a charity and a limited company. In November, so November last year, we gained Royal Charter status, which we're really pleased. So I'm in the process at the moment of transitioning from that limited company to a Royal Incorporated company, and obviously we'll have to change our registration for charity as well. So that's where we are. So we're a registered charity. We're obviously a Royal Incorporated organisation, and our core work is really focused on really developing the standards for the profession. It's really about the professionalisation, in a sense, of the sector. There's a lot that's gone on, there's a lot that is going on, and I think that really for government really to have a key focal point in relation to, for MODs developing standards, if a DWP developing standards, if different organisations and accreditation organisations developing, that's an awful lot of standards. So there's an awful lot of confusion and kind of a confusion, I think, in both the sector but also in the general public. So what we're really keen to do is to demystify that. So the focus is around developing the standards, one standard, so when we're looking at the different kind of thematic and specialism areas, and developing a real clear career route map. So if you want to join the sector, whether you're doing a kind of linear route, you're doing GCSEs, A levels, degrees, specific kind of certifications, qualifications, and go into a specific specialism or generalist, that's fine. Or if you're a career changer, but you're absolutely clear around what are the different specialisms and what's the route into the profession. It's a question I get an awful lot on LinkedIn and through our inquiries. I'm really keen on joining the sector, or I've got a master's in cybersecurity, but I don't understand what I need to do next. So for us, it's about demystifying, and as you know, Phil, there's a significant skills gap in this area. Engineering's been around for a long time, law, accountancy, etc. So it's not on the lips of all either young people or career change. I want to join cybersecurity. So really, it's about raising the brand and profile of the sector and the fantastic opportunities that basically exist, because we do obviously have a skills gap. And for me, it is around, we've got a macro mission of we need to protect UK PLC, and there's some fantastic opportunities, and it's for me, it's about making sure that people are aware of that.
Excellent. I think you kind of answered the next question I was going to get to, which was
Sorry,
really no, far from it. It was an excellent and comprehensive answer. But No, I'm really interested in how you think you're going to achieve this sort of standardization, this sort of, I think you're right about like accountants have that kind of junior, senior kind of stuff. How are you
Absolutely.
going to achieve it?
Absolutely. So one of the things, so through our kind of obviously charter application that went to Privy Council, we were signed off on kind of three levels. So one at the top level, really having what we call a charter, so being a chartered cybersecurity professional. Then the second level was basically principal, and then the lower level was associate. But that's still three quite senior levels. So really, it's about understanding what's the threshold. So a lot of the work we're doing at the moment is around we have to have what I call equilibrium across other sectors. So if what we don't want is that you need to work internationally for 20 years, have a PhD, and have 7 different certifications to be chartered. That's going to set the bar too high, and there's going to be 7 people on a global level that will achieve that. What we need to know is what are the standards. So in relation to accountancy, in relation to engineering, in relation to law, what are the chartership levels there, and we need to create equilibrium, and that's a lot of the focus of our work, equilibrium with those kind of professions. And so what's the kind of requirements, how much experience, what kind of capability, what kind of competence, and what qualifications. So we're doing that work there. That's how you create some of the kind of standardization. And also in relation to the standards, what are the key standards? So we're working on the thematic level. So for example, focusing, let's say, on risk management or security architecture. What's the key standards and the competency and capability do you need to operate at those 3 levels? So charter, principal, or associate, and doing that work. And so and that's for me how you then develop the kind of the standardization and professionalization, and then linking to that the work around the kind of career route map. So based on that, what qualification or certification and which bodies provide those elements of training and certification, and again at what level. Some may argue my level is level 7 and it's up here. Okay, but let's do the assessment and see where it really lands. And again, and this is where the sector comes in, because ultimately, what does employers, what does the sector say around the qualification and certification? What's the level required to operate at this level? That's where the basically work is. So that's how we will then create the professionalization of the sector. And then ultimately with that, it's then really then around kind of marketing the sector to both the general public, but obviously to young people who want to join the sector and career changes.
So there's 2 of us sitting here who aren't cybersecurity technical experts. Is there going to be room for us in this chart?
Absolutely. So I think, so again, for me, is there's a whole concept of what they call accredited prior learning and experience. So I think it's really about understanding where do I fit into this, and what kind of training or qualifications or experience do I need to, because it might not be at charter level. So I can even say, I couldn't be chartered because of obviously I haven't got any of the qualifications. So really, it's really so where will I fit in? Even below associate, to be honest. So really, I think it's for the people who's been in the profession, who's been in the profession for a good while, and can prove an evidence through, because it has to be through an assessment process. So obviously, I'm not going to pass I know quite a lot about risk, but security architecture, I'm not going to pass an assessment on that. But when you go through, and again, we're working through, what does that assessment process look like? What's the criteria, and how can you show evidence of? Yeah, so that's kind of, so could you join? Absolutely. At what level? I could make no guarantees. So it's really about your knowledge and experience, and then you would work out based upon that it would be appropriate that I apply for this level. So that's how it will basically work out.
Well, that's good, because I've got an NVQ level 2 in packaging and warehousing. But look, you've had a really busy last couple of months, I think, and we'll see you everywhere. And you and I have talked many a times. But so, is the council fully operational yet?
Well, not fully operational. So we had quite a lot of staff who were seconded from other organisations. So all of last financial year. So over the last kind of 5-6 weeks, we've been recruiting new staff into the organisation, and actually, really pleased to say that some of our new staff are starting next week. Obviously, it's new financial year now, so what I had to do was secure, obviously, the funding kind of moving forward, and then to create the structure, and ultimately to create a structure that is fit for purpose to deliver on our mission. And then to say, well, what is the mission? It's really what's outlined within, obviously, the national cyber strategy. So it really articulates the importance. Ecosystem 1.2 is our kind of key objective, and really focus on enhancing and expanding the whole skills workforce within the sector. So I know that's what the focus is. I know how we need to work on that. I know we need to focus on standards and the obviously careers kind of route map and the skills development piece. So I've now structured the organisation to be able to deliver on that. So we advertised for about altogether 7 roles. We've got all the candidates, all from except for my HR, all now who secured the roles, and they'll be starting from next Monday. So we'll be fully operational, I say, in about the next six weeks. Half operational for Monday and fully operational in the next 6 weeks.
Excellent. But you've got quite a few trustees involved, and can you tell us a bit about them and how they're shaping your work?
Okay, so we had what they call the founding trustees. So they were four individuals, and again, it's really important on a kind of charity governance level. That my chair is Dr. Claudia Nathanson. So she's a kind of global CISO, works for AccuWeather, been in the sector for many years, obviously well known and kind of renowned as a cybersecurity expert and professional, and which is really important because again, in relation to that sounding board around some of the technical stuff, and somebody is absolutely what she says in the weeds of cyber. It's excellent to have that sounding board and have the conversations as we're kind of developing. And then we've got members who obviously focus very much on strategy kind of development, also on finance, so kind of again a national kind of global what they call financial officer who's our treasurer. And the fourth is somebody basically from kind of policy and public affairs. That was our founding four members, so Jessica, Mike, Claudia and Carla. And then in October we secured 4 additional trustees, and that's for open kind of process led by an external organisation. And in relation to charity governance, it's really important that you have the right kind of skills. You do a skills analysis of what do you need to create really best governance practice, and having the right people basically in the roles. So what with additional, somebody's come from Open University, Citra, who done a lot of work obviously leading on the kind of cybersecurity. We've got another individual who's kind of does venture, so a lot of kind of entrepreneur kind of activities, business development activities. Another individual who is very much involved in education and been involved in registered organisations, so that's Nathan. And also a legal counsel, so somebody's been a legal solicitor and barrister for many years, which I use an awful lot. So that's Francis, I use a very lot, and which is really important. So again, it's about having the right skills in relation to how do you develop best practice in relation to governance practice for the organisation. What's happening next is the final 4 trustee board members will come basically from the membership. So we've actually right now we've got out kind of live is a kind of opportunity for people to join, especially members of the organisation, to join the organisation and to put themselves forward or others forward to be on the trustee board. So that would then ideally obviously be people that, again, it's important we've got the right skills gap, but that would then bring some of the additional cybersecurity knowledge and expertise, especially on an operational level, operational and technical level, to the board. So that would then, for me, create that whole board of all of the right knowledge, experience and skills to really drive the organisation forward.
Again, it shows the broad rainbow and spectrum that is required of cybersecurity industry. So there's a number of other national cyber bodies. I'm on the UKC3, which is how we met, but the National Cybersecurity Centre, Tech UK. How are you working with these groups?
Okay, so you know, it's really interesting. I think when I first joined the organisation, I think there was a certain amount of what I would say mission drift. Yeah, so we started. I remember some of the articles started to get quite technical, and if anyone, and because I think some of the content was started to get technical, and my whole view is you absolutely have to stay focused and quite focused on what your key mission, vision and kind of values are. And I remember conversations with my chair Claudia just around we need to stay in our swim lane. So you know, we are not the technical experts and expertise, so my whole thing was about working really closely with NCSC, especially so as the technical authority in relation to cybersecurity. So when we're developing standards, when we're developing our work, when we're having conversations, where do I go for technical knowledge and expertise? We formed a really good partnership, and it's real great collaboration. So that's really important for me. And I think also, I think with obviously UKC3, so in relation to UK wide, really, really in the weeds, so really on boots on the ground in a sense, and really engaging with the professionals and the sector, I think is really important. So understanding what's happening on a UK wide perspective, or with the organisations that really working with, the obviously professionals that are in the sector. We've again formed a really good partnership to work with yourself, obviously, and Richard and John, etc., and the team has been really productive. And Tech UK, obviously, with their links into wider kind of technology and the different businesses and FTSE 100, and again doing a lot of kind of campaigning and large membership. And I think so. Our work in collaboration as part of, I call it the kind of ecosystem kind of partnership, has been really productive. And so I'm always looking at who can we kind of work in collaboration with, and it can't be based on kind of vested interests. It has to be based on what's best for the sector and what's best for the country. So it can't be, an individual or small organisations trying to. But what I do like to do also, though, is, I've met a lot of people who are doing some really great work that does fit within our kind of parameters and our mission and our swim lane, which may be a piece of work which is, you know, in a specific area, which is looking at increasing either the diversity of people joining the sector. It might have a, you know, micro project, it might be freely funded project, might be funded by DCMS, etc. And so we will amplify something like that because it's a great micro piece of work and where they've created an impact. So when I've seen so many, to be quite honest, there's a lot of things taking place, but very often people just don't know. So one of the things we often do is we will amplify that, because that's helping us in relation to our wider mission. But I think the only way we can achieve the core work that we've got to do around standards, around the career route map, around outreach and diversity is working in collaboration. So it's great working with yourself and your team, Phil.
Absolutely, couldn't agree with you more, Simon. So we're very keen in UKCT to see some sort of cybersecurity alliance, making sure that all the key bodies at least understand what each other's doing and can, not necessarily stick to the swim lanes, but swim together in concert.
Yeah,
And
absolutely, absolutely.
So obviously Cyber North has about 70 different companies that provide cybersecurity services across the region. What do you want from them? What do you want from the companies?
So I think the one to really get an understanding of what, and again, obviously, especially working with UKC3, getting an understanding of what work is basically taking place, how people kind of working to support the work that we're basically doing. So especially what, you know, the last thing we want to do is to create barriers to people joining the profession. But what we have to do is to make sure we've created a profession that has the right kind of framework and boundaries, just like engineering, just like accountancy, etc. So we always want to hear that we're, in a sense, doing the right thing to support the profession. Again, we're not the technical authority. So some people do contact me around, they've got a specific cyber service or product, and this is going to save the UK. I would say talk to my colleagues at NCSC around that one. It's definitely not myself. But obviously we get quite a bit of that. So I think what we would like is really just engagement, you know, through UKC3, engagement with ourselves in relation to, as we're developing the standards, as we're developing our career route map, as we're doing work around kind of outreach and diversity. And we really want ambassadors out in a sense the field, really promoting not just the organisation but our sector. And so we will be, you know, we've got our careers route map on with the 16 specialisms on the website. It's currently quite high level, but what we're going to do is drill that down so it becomes, yes, still high level, but also some general information, so that if people are engaging with schools, with colleges, with people interested in joining the sector, there's more information on there. So, oh, this is interesting, and I actually could change career and join this, but I'm actually clear about how I could get into the sector. So really what we want is ambassadors, really championing the importance of cybersecurity, of the sector, and the role that we're playing as an organisation.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I'm sure you'll get that. So my last question to you, though, look, this has been a horrendously busy month last year for you, so I'm sure next year's going to be no better, but what is it you'd like to see in the next 12 months?
So really, I think the past kind of 6 months for me has really been focused on establishing the organisation. So now I'm going to get, obviously, my kind of core team in place is going to be really important. I think the real focus is around developing the standards for the profession. There's, as you're aware, there was a consultation that was released back in January, and the outcome of that will be released and government response in June. So I want to see, obviously I don't know what the outcome of that is yet, but whatever the outcome of that, I need to be responsive to the outcome, because in a sense, what have the people said? So as the organisation, if we're the voice for the profession, the profession has spoken through this consultation, the government will respond, and then we will have to respond in relation to our kind of key objectives or activities kind of based on that. So key focus next 12 months, developing the key standards. So working on some thematic standards linked to our chartership principal and associate, in developing further our career route map, again linked to those specialisms. I can't guarantee we're not going to do all 16. Let me declare this here first. You know, first, we're not going to develop 16 standards in a year. That's absolutely not going to happen. So and definitely developing standards that people then can really recognise at each of the levels, principal, associate, and charter, and really doing some work, you know, based on the decryption diversity report. So really making an inroad into how we promote diversity within the sector, and also raising the brand not just of the organisation but also of the sector, one across the general public, but also in the academic kind of fields. So for me, that's some of the kind of key work that we're looking to do, I think, over the next year. There will be some announcements. I'm just crossing the I's and dotting the T's. That's the wrong way around. I'm just dotting the I's and crossing the T's. I'm just doing that at the moment. But yeah, there will be some announcement in the coming weeks on some of our macro plans.
Excellent. I told you it was going to be another busy 12 months coming up. So thank you very much for that, Simon. That was really, really interesting. I'd also like to thank Robert Campbell, who's helped me to set up these in conversations. He works in the background. Look out for the next one in our series, and if you're interested in taking part or know someone who wishes to, please get in touch. Thanks very much, Simon.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Robert. Take care.
That was In Conversation with Phil Jackman, lead for Cyber North. Audio and video production was by me, Robert Campbell. This was a Team Funds production for Dynamo Northeast.